Hello and welcome to Deus Machina Demonbane. I'm RMP 792, and why am I doing this game? Well, it's pretty simple. Somebody paid me money to do it. Specifically, if you're not aware, I have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/RMP792. And one of the rewards you can get is to actually decide a game that I will spend, I would say a week, but based on what I've read about this game, it's probably going to be a 2-week job. But, spend my time playing and covering for the channel. So this game was requested by Lee Matz, and frankly, I hope he appreciates, the effort I put into actually acquire a copy. Because, my usual techniques, i.e. checking Steam, checking GOG, checking the usual places, turned up nothing, and the only downloads I could find of this game looked a little bit dodgy. So I figured that, in the end I ended up going on Amazon, and I had to order myself a copy from the States, which meant it took like 3 weeks to arrive, so yes, that was fun, but regardless. So, if you're not aware of my channel, I will give you my usual opening spiel. I record my Let's Play footage a week in advance, which means that by the time you see it, there's a reasonable chance I've finished it. So if you're giving me advice on the best way to play the game, just be aware of that. With that said, my maximum upload count for a single week used to be 25 parts, it's now 50 parts, but that's because I used to record half-hour Let's Play episodes, and I'm now limited to 15 minutes, because a little while ago I got a community strike from YouTube for violating their incredibly vague and unhelpful community guidelines by including the sex scenes from Sunrider Academy. And I still happen to think that's bollocks, but there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. As a result, please be aware going into this that this game does contain, and I'm quoting directly from the back of the box, strong sexual content, and it is rated for adults only. Because of YouTube's rules, I'm going to have to cut any explicit sex scenes out. I haven't completely decided how I'm going to do that yet, because I just use Windows Movie Maker. I don't have an easy way to black box things that are dodgy, so I'll probably just have to cut it completely. Which is, it's annoying, but what the hell can you do? You cannot fight Google. Well, you can, but you'll lose badly. And before anybody comments on censorship, I'd like to point out that censorship is something imposed by a government. Google is not a government. Yet. So it's not censorship. I'm not entirely sure what the exact word is. It's probably content restriction would be the best way to describe it, but it's not censorship. Got that? Okay, good. So, with all that said and done, I'd just like to apologise for the frame rate counter in the corner. I'd also like to apologise for my hiccups. But this is another one of those games that Fraps does not want to recognise as a game. So, have to get it to just record everything on the screen, which includes the frame rate counter. But, I'm sure most of you can ignore that, because it's up in the corner and not too bad, unless I keep drawing attention to it. Hey look, frame rate counter. So yes, I think that's everything on the usual spiel list. Oh, yes, the one other thing. I do read every comment, because at the moment my channel is sufficiently small that I can take the time to read every comment. I may or may not reply to them. If I don't have a good answer to your comment, I won't reply to it. Rather than taking the time to respond with an I don't know. The other thing is that if my brain rambles a lot, and I'll probably say a lot of weird stuff and ask a lot of rhetorical questions. If you want to answer them, please feel absolutely free. But it would be very, very helpful for me if you could actually flag the point in the video at which I said the thing you're replying to. Because, as I say, my brain's a bit rambly, and half the time I don't remember what I've said from 1 minute to the next, let alone a week later. So, with that said and done, let us begin. Yes, no idea what to expect from this game. Because I deliberately don't do too much research. The deep. The abyss. The endless, limitless sea of stars. far reaches of the infinite void, the other side of a lonely world. Who knows of the strange things that lurk there, the threat that approaches? Who knows? In a place beyond human knowledge, beyond insanity, the world, the other, violet, great, defile each other, over and over again. And still they continue, still they return, forever into the future, forever into the past. And even now, at this very moment, there will likely never be an end. Not if, at the end of endless time, even death may die. The stars do not blink, the stars do not waver, and in space, their brightness is far too great. And in the blackness that lies between those countless lights, this planet exists. The blue earth. Deep, deep blue. Dark blue. Fathomless blue. Yet look how it glitters. Faintly. Dazzling. Peacefully. Overwhelmingly. Tearing apart that blue, a dark wound spreads. Black crack splits the sky, and compared to the expanse of blue, it is so very small. However, it is undeniably present, other, unnatural, something that cannot exist, something that must not exist. It's a clear tear in the world. And from that tear it comes, as though it has been rejected from the other side, loathed, scorned, ridiculed and cast out. It is steel, a giant form of steel. By what scale can it be called giant? And the answer is clear. Compared to what form it is based on, it is much too enormous. The steel has been shaped in the form of a man. Or perhaps seeing it that way would be a mistake born of ego. If man is made in the shape of God, then perhaps too it has been made in God's image. However, no matter what shape it is meant to emulate, it is flawed. It has been sliced and smashed, and many parts are missing. It is short an arm and a leg, and half its face has been torn away. And across its chest lies a great gash, as though it has been cut open. In order to be in the image of God, one must not be incomplete. God is perfect. And with all the damage it has taken, it can also no longer be called an image of man. A person missing so many parts is no longer a person, but a corpse. However, the steel giant is yet alive. Still caught in the inertia of its ejection, the giant seems as though it will fall to earth. Yet the giant does not resist, nor even pay mind to its fall. Instead it clenches its bloodless iron hand, so two of its fingers are bent in an unnatural direction, and it cannot form a fist. Thrusting its fist forward towards the crack from which it has been cast out, the giant spreads its fingers, and floating in space, gathering in the hand, networks of light appear. Coming together in countless layers, they shape themselves around the hand, and in the shapes appear symbols, characters carved from light into the space itself. A web of light, formed from the characters of light, and thus a pattern is given shape, and something other occurs. The pattern collapses, the lights burst apart, scatter, reform, contract, expand again, and crystallize. And the gathered light takes form, shaping itself into a mass of metal. And that faintly shining object is bloodthirst and destruction given form. It is a gun. The giant tries to seize the newly formed gun, but its index finger is broken. And gripping the weapon with just its thumb and ring finger, it places its middle on the trigger. And the gun is like a blade of concentrated malice, its point aimed straight at the tear in space. And through the other side, strengthened by the desire to kill, power flows into the mechanical finger, and the trigger is pulled. Light surges from the muzzle of the gun, a raging beam of lightning, and although it has been fired from a crude position, the light flies straight through the crack, as though guided by malice. The light is swallowed into the darkness of the fissure, and there is a brief silence, although the universe has been silent from the first. Then the tear shines with light, and light bursts forth. The violence of the light burns away the blackness of space, and the flood of light swallows up the whole of the world. And within the light, there is silence. and then the white darkness begins to withdraw. Yet for a time, some light remains burned into the void. And in that blurry white darkness, the gravelly, wounded steel giant, still falling, spreads its steel wings. And from those wings issue light, somehow allowing the giant to support itself against inertia. And the giant's descent ceases. And all this time the giant's eyes remain fixed straight ahead. The fissure has vanished. There is nothing. Nothing but the endless sea of stars. The other has vanished, leaving not a trace behind. No. There are lights shining. Are they the remnants of the light that has been shot from the giant's gun? Wrapped in those lights, a crimson shape can be seen. Crimson shape, also in the form of a man. Another steel giant, but it lacks none of its parts. A perfect image of man, or perhaps a perfect image of God. With its right hand held out, it looks down upon the wounded giant, and it is as though its expressionless steel mask is laughing contemptuously. Accept defeat. The Crimson Giant's voice echoes through space where no sound should be heard. Clear like the sound of a bell, it is an androgynous voice that belongs to either a young man or a young woman. And the voice continues. And addressing the giant that has fired upon it, the voice is gentle, as though speaking to an old friend. Yet within, there is an echo of loathing. Even though you have thought it is the strongest, without a master, there is no hope of you defeating the Liber Legis. The Iron Giant does not answer. However, its actions speak louder than any words can. A second shot is fired, and then a third, a fourth, a fifth. A rain of lightning strikes at the Crimson Giant. How futile. Light gathers in the Crimson Giant's outstretched hand, and a floating pattern forms from the characters of light. And in front of the Crimson Giant appears a mighty barrier that blocks and disperses the rain of lightning. I call forth the darkness of Nakai. The Crimson Giant's arm splits from the gaping maw of a black cannon emerges, its length covered in shining symbols. And from the barrel of that cannon spew forth masses of darkness, deeper than the black gulf of space. Bending and absorbing even the starlight, 11 masses of darkness attack the steel giant. Belching fire from its wings, the giant tries to avoid them, and it is only able to dodge half. The steel giant expands a barrier of light, and 3 of the spheres of darkness are drawn in and annihilated, and the giant sacrifices its gun to eliminate one more. The gun warps, is absorbed, and the darkness vanishes, and the remaining mass of darkness catches the giant. Half the giant's abdomen is hollowed out, and this time it is a fatal wound. The giant's life force is about to give out. Raising the output of its wings to maximum, the steel giant charges at the Crimson Giant, and this seems to take the Crimson Giant by surprise. The two giants collide, throwing up a shower of sparks, and though it has only one arm, the wounded giant clings to the Crimson, and all its power is devoted to not let it go. The Crimson Giant's armor shrieks in protest and cracks appear in the arm of its back. You! Clinging to the Crimson Giant, the wounded giant continues to charge ahead. After travelling a certain distance, it makes a wide turn. As though seeking the pull of gravity, the giant charges, falls, at full speed, toward the earth below. You intend to take me with you? The nearly dead giant does not answer. Instead, it puts even more power into its arm, crushing the armor on its foe's back. The two giants shine red with heat. They have entered the atmosphere. The wind howls violently, trying to burn the giants to ash. Their bodies turn red, melt, burst open. Then the deformed humanoid loses the remains of his form, while the red humanoid is wounded once again. Know when to give up! Right, looking at my timer, I've got to end this part here, so I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.